Hey, 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 it is 8:30. Welcome to day 9. This is the PM edition of our 21 days of prayer and fasting online gathering. This is the Monday edition of our 21 days of prayer and fasting. So it's good to see everybody as you're jumping on. Let us know how you're doing. Hey, Patty, it's great to see you guys today. Let us know how your day was. Was it a good day? Was it a bad day? Was it an okay day? Busy day? Slow day? Hey, Melody, how are you today? I hope you guys had a fantastic Monday. I know it's Monday, but I hope you didn't have a case of the Mondays. I hope your Monday was great and amazing and everything that you needed it to be today. My kids were at home today, and so I got to spend some time with the kiddos today. You had a busy day? Oh, well, hopefully it was productive. Sorry, I got something in my eye here. There we go. All right. Well, it's good to see you guys. Hi, Dora, you had a good day? Hey, that's fantastic. Yeah, so I got to spend some time with my kids today since they were out of school for Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday, and so that's always a good thing. We got to play a little bit. We got to laugh a little bit. They got to sleep in a little bit, which is always good for them. They always enjoy sleeping in. So hopefully you guys had a great day, whether you were working or at home or whatever the case may be. Oh, Bells is not feeling well. We'll definitely pray for Bells, Patty. Absolutely. Thank you for letting us know that today. Well, hey, it is day 9. Some of you guys were able to join us in the AM edition of this, the early edition, the early bird catches the worm, and some of you called in this morning because you were with us on our 6:30 AM gathering. Others of you may have watched it later, which is totally great as well. But if you're on here twice in one day, man, I'm gonna give you an extra star in your crown when you get to heaven. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Kristen is on. Yay, she's on live. Spent 3 hours catching up on YouTube while working. Man, maybe you get the gold star today, Kristen. I don't know. That's fantastic. That's commitment right there. Dedication or sheer boredom. I don't know which one. But either way, I'm glad you did it. Awesome. Well, hey, it is day 9, as I said, and we are so excited to be able to spend some time this evening. We're not going to be long tonight. This is going to be a little bit shorter than some of the others have been. But it's a simple thought tonight that I want to give you, but I think it's a really, really powerful thought as we journey through this season together. And we talked this morning about this idea of, we talked about freedom and how God has set us free to stay free, but we started this whole process of talking about how God wants all of us, and we said we want more of God in our life. We want more of His love and more of His power and more of His blessings, and we want to invite Him into all of these parts of us. But that means we have to let Him have all of us as well. That there's that mutual exchange that takes place, right? And so it's all about that. We're going to kind of turn our focus maybe this week, not about just getting more of Him in our life and more prayer or more worship or more Bible study or all of those things, which are good, but also we're going to turn our focus to surrendering and giving more of Him to, or giving more of ourselves to Him. And so that's where we want to turn our focus again tonight, and I'm excited to share this with you. Hey, I'm going to mention this again at the end, but just in case I forget, I want to go ahead and say it now. Our next PM live, of course, we'll be back here on Wednesday morning at 6:30 a.m., but at 8:30 p.m. sorry guys, my brain's not working. I got fasting brain. Lauren is saying the camera is dirty. Clean the camera. Look at that. That was a quick swipe right there. Wow, that was fast. So this Wednesday night at 8:30, we are going to have a couple of our friends. Actually, they're one of our overseers, Jason and Lisa Dickinson from Harvest Fellowship in Albuquerque, New Mexico. They're going to be on doing kind of a dual live with us. And if you're a part of Brave Church, you got to be on here because these people are a part of the oversight. They give oversight to Brave Church, and so they're really a part of your leadership. They're not just leading me and Lauren. They're also helping lead our church and give wisdom as we make decisions on administration and finances and policies and ministry and all these other things. They're helping guide and direct us. And Jason and Lisa have been a wonderful, wonderful mentor to Lauren and I, and they've agreed to be on with us this Wednesday. So be on with us this Wednesday. All right. Now, I want to jump in quickly. As I said, this is going to be a little bit shorter one. It's just a quick and a simple thought, but it's a really powerful thought as we talk about this idea of giving ourselves to God. And it comes to us, I had it here. It comes to us from the book of Luke, chapter 9. Let's see, book of Luke, chapter 9. And I'm just going to read verses 23 and 24. And I want to give you a little context to let you know what's happening here. All right, so check this out. So Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he's predicting his death. It's one of the things that often doesn't get talked about a lot, and a lot of people don't fully understand, I don't think. We know that Jesus died on the cross, was buried for 3 days, raised on the third day, death, burial, resurrection. We know all that. But not a lot of people have read enough of the Gospels, the life of Jesus, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, to understand fully that Jesus told these guys and many of the crowds that this was going to happen. And so it's a little bit shocking that they're shocked when it all transpires. When you go to the end of these books and they're like, oh my goodness, we can't believe it. He's gone. It's like, didn't he tell you guys that this was going to happen? And so we see him predicting his death, and he talks about how the Son of Man is going to be rejected, and chief priests and by the elders, the chief priests, the teachers of the law. He'll be killed, but he'll be raised on the third day. I mean, he just spells it out for him exactly what's going to happen. And then Luke doesn't say this, but as we know, the gospel writers, many of them share the same stories, but sometimes from a different perspective. In Matthew's version of this particular story right here, it says, after Jesus says, hey, I'm going to die, they're going to kill me, 3 days later, it's cool, I'm coming back to life. It says Peter jumps up and is like, no, this is never going to happen to you. I won't let it happen. And Jesus rebukes him. And this is where the very famous "get behind me, Satan" comes from. If you ever heard somebody say that. In fact, Kristen, it's so funny that you're on here tonight. I said that to you Sunday in a very joking fashion because, of course, we're fasting. And Kristen is a wonderful lady in our church, and she takes great care. She and Crystal and several of the other ladies are always providing food for our dream team on Sunday mornings as we're setting things up. And she brought donuts, and she was like, hey, Bart, I got some red velvet over here if you want some. And of course, as I said, we're in the middle of this fast, and we're all fasting different things, right? And she didn't know what I was fasting. And so I was like, no, get behind me, Satan. Now get those donuts away from me, right? So it's that sort of comical thing. But it comes from this whole passage right here where Jesus rebukes Peter because Peter says, no, you can't die. Dying is not good, Jesus. We need you here. But the two verses I want to read right here, Luke chapter 9, verses 23 and 24, Jesus says, hey, not only do I have to die, but you have to die as well. But he's not talking a physical death. Let's jump in. Oh, it's so good. Ready? So Luke chapter 9, verse 23, then, this is from the NIV, then he said to them all, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it. And whoever loses their life for me will save it. Wow, there's a lot there to unpack. And so here's what I want to lead with this thought here, all right? I'm going to give you a scary thought for tonight. It's not Halloween, but here's a spooky thought. You ready? Here it is. You can know God. You can read the Bible. You can sing worship songs. You can even pray. You can be a Christian, be a believer, be on your way to heaven, right? Heaven bound. But still not be completely surrendered to God. That's a scary thought. that you can believe in Jesus, have your sins forgiven, be on your way to heaven, but still be in charge of your life and be calling the shots and that sort of thing. Man, that's crazy, right? Crazy to think about. You're just, basically what you're doing is you're just adding Jesus to your life, but you're still in the driver's seat. All right, I'm going to use a driving analogy tonight. My oldest daughter, Allie, who is 16, we're in the process of getting her license. And of course, I take her out ever so often and we practice driving. We practice parking and parallel parking and 3-point turns and practice using our turn signal and getting on the highway and the whole 9 yards. You remember when you first started, learning how to drive, all of that kind of stuff. Same thing here, right? So I'm in the driver's seat. I'm teaching her, all right, so this is what you do. And then guess what happens? I get out and I go around the car and she hops in the driver's seat. I hop in the passenger seat and now she's in control and I'm having to watch. And if you've ever had to teach your kids how to drive, this is a very helpless feeling because you're like, oh, don't do that, don't do that, no, don't turn here. Whoa, 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 go faster. No, slow down, right? Everything they do is like, and it's hard as a parent for me to sort of let go of that control and trust her in that moment, right? But one of the things that we learn from prayer and fasting is this idea of saying no to our flesh, to our desires, to the things that we want, because we learn that life's not all about us and it's all about putting God first and ourselves second or last, whatever you want to say. And so it's this idea of dying to our flesh. And so what we want to do is we want to be able to give up control of our life and get in the passenger seat of our life, which sounds really funny, right? Since I'm using this driving analogy, it makes sense, right? Because we like calling the shots. This, think in terms of driving as a parallel to your life. Okay, this is the direction I want my life to go. We're cruising along. We're doing 5 miles above the speed limit because nobody goes the speed limit, right? So in my life, I'm driving fast. I want to get from point A to point B as fast as I can. I want to climb the corporate ladder as fast as I can. I want to make as much money as I can. I want, my kids to grow up as fast as they can and get out of my house or whatever, right? I want to start my weight loss journey and lose as much weight as I can as fast as I can. Like everything is all about my plans, my vision, my goals, my direction. Here we go. But the problem is, when we are driving, it doesn't matter that our foot is on the accelerator, right? The control is here. Because if God says, hey, you should turn here, and we still have control of the wheel, boy, that's tough. That's tough to give up. Ooh, but God, you're asking me to do this, and I don't want to do this. I'd rather go this way. And that's tough to give up. Letting go is scary. Putting God in the driver's seat, letting go of the steering wheel, and us sitting in the passenger seat is horrifying. It's scary because we're not in charge anymore. We're not in control. And when we're not in control, we don't know how it's going to turn out because we know our way is the right way and everybody else's way is the wrong way. And if they would just listen to us, we could help them because we're always right. Right? Not always. We think we are. Some of you are control freaks, kind of like I am, right? If I ask somebody to do a job, I know how I want it done. And I'm thinking to myself, hey, this is how it needs to be done. You're not doing it that way. Kind of like teaching my daughter how to drive. It's like, I could just do it myself. It'd be so much easier if you just let me do it myself. I need to go to like Controlaholic Anonymous. I don't even know if that's a thing, right? We meet on Thursdays. We have donuts, red velvet ones. But I would walk in and I'd be like, hi, Controlaholics Anonymous, I'm Bart and I have control issues. But I bet each one of us have control issues on some level. And when you boil it down, when you look at control issues, it's really a trust issue. It's, do I trust this thing or this person enough to do what they think is best, even though what I think is best is the only thing I can think about or see. So when we talk about letting go of the steering wheel of our life and letting God in the driver's seat, All right, God, you're going to call the shots. You're going to tell me where to go. You're going to show me what to say. You're going to tell me where to turn. You're going to know when to stop. God, I'm going to follow your lead. You say it, I'll do it. We talked about that at church Sunday. Whatever he says to me, I'm going to do it, right? When you let go of that, it's like, okay, God, I trust you completely. And when you find yourself struggling to let go, okay, God, I can't let go. I'm holding my family really tight. I'm not sure I can completely surrender them to you. Okay, God, here's my past. Here's my guilt. Here's my shame. Here's the things I prayed nobody ever finds out about. When you're still holding on to things, whatever they are, it really reveals on the inside of you a mistrust for who God is and that he'll be good enough on your behalf. So, do I trust God enough to let go? Sometimes we think of surrendering our life to God as a one-time decision, right? Well, brother, you're having problems, brother. You just need to surrender your life to the Lord, right? I don't know why I did like this hillbilly redneck voice, but that's what came out, all right? So you just need to surrender your life to Jesus, right? Give your life to him. And we think about like that verbiage, that vernacular, it sort of connotates like a one-time thing. Oh, he needs to pray a prayer of salvation. He needs to go to the front, to the altar, and let somebody pray with him to receive Christ. But actually surrendering your life to Jesus is not a one-time thing. If you got saved when you were 7 years old or 25 years old or 52 years, whenever you gave your life to Jesus, that's awesome. We celebrate that. Your name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life. You're on your way to heaven. But can I tell you something? Surrendering to Jesus is not a one-time decision. It is an every single day decision, because every day you have to surrender your will and say yes to his will. That's why when you look at that verse, Luke chapter 9, verse 23, it says, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily. Not take up their cross one time when they pray a simple prayer and ask for forgiveness. It says take up their cross every single day. Or as my kids would say, every day, right? Every morning when you wake up, you should say, God, not my will, but your will be done. I don't want to think my thoughts today. I don't want to say my words. I don't want to do my actions. I want your will to be done in my life. God, I don't want what I want for today. I have my schedule and my agenda and the things that I want to get done, and that's cool. But God, I want your will to be done in my life. God, I want this day to be your day. And when you surrender your will to God, look, what it really is at the end of the day, it's dying to yourself. That's why he said, take up your cross. When Jesus carried that cross, if you can imagine Jesus carrying the cross on his back and walking to Golgotha or walking to Calvary, he carried his cross. The cross is an instrument of execution. The cross in some ways has lost its meaning because it's just this nice little thing. We have cross earrings, or somebody has a cross necklace, or somebody's got a cool shirt with a cross on it, or somebody's got a tattoo of, a cross or whatever. And that's awesome. But sometimes we see it so much that it becomes decoration instead of really what it is. And that is an instrument of execution. Imagine if someone had dangly earrings or a necklace of an electric chair. That'd be kind of odd, wouldn't it? But that's the same thing. So Jesus said, you got to take up your cross. Take that instrument of execution and die to yourself. Kill those fleshly desires. If you're fasting, you got to die to yourself. You got to die to, I'm fasting coffee, but I'm jonesing for coffee. I got to have my coffee. I can't function without my coffee. Well, if God put it on your heart to fast that, then you got to die to your flesh on that. If you're fasting some food item or during a certain time of day, maybe you're used to eating breakfast, you're not eating breakfast. Okay, God, I'm giving that to you today. I'm going to die to my desire to eat bacon and eggs today. Or whatever it is, whatever you're fasting and giving up. So we have to die to ourselves every single day. And that's why he said, you have to die daily. Take up your cross means my will's going to be diminished and let God's will slowly rise. Now, the last thing I want to mention to you is this. So we get joy, we get peace, we get freedom when we surrender our life to Christ. And I believe that God is asking each of us this question as we watch and listen today. Will you surrender total control of your life? Or is there still an area of your life that you have, click, roped off, like a velvet rope? Sorry, you're not, they have those velvet ropes lining off for club entrances and different VIP things. Oh, you're not on the list. Sorry, click, velvet rope. You're not allowed. Do we do that to Jesus? It's like, okay, my family gets in, and Jesus gets in when I need help. Like if somebody's sick, I want Jesus in. But in my normal every day-to-day life, like I got this, I can run the show. I don't need Jesus's help. I'm just running normal life. Like I got this. Click, Jesus, stay behind the velvet rope until I need you. And then I'll come get you from behind the velvet rope. What area have you cornered off Jesus in? What area have you said is off limits to Jesus? Maybe you haven't said it with your words, but with your attitude, you've basically put him over in the corner until you need him. And then you pull him out. Oh, Jesus, I need you. It's an emergency. And then you put him back. You're not surrendering control of every area of your life. You don't trust him in that one area fully. You don't trust his love. You don't trust that his love is going to come through and be good enough for you or take care of you or know what's best for you long term. And so I want to ask you today, what is the area of your life? Is there something that you need to surrender to God today? What are you holding on to that you need to let go of? Maybe it's something you let go of at one time. You surrendered it to God, but somewhere along the way you took it back from him because you didn't like how he handled it, or you thought you could do a better job. Friends, I got to tell you something. I'm sure you're a great person. I'm sure you're fantastic, but you're not God. And neither am I. And if we think we can do a better job than God, then we'll hold tightly to the steering wheel of our life and our decision making, and we'll leave God completely out of it. But I want to urge you as we pray, I want to urge you to back off, to let go, to surrender fully and completely and say, God, this situation is yours. My daily life, my work life, my home life, my getting up, my sitting down, my lying down, my family, my health, my finances, my attitude, my anger issues, my sin issue, whatever. What is that thing that you need to say, God, it's yours. I'm tired of trying to run my life my way. I'm tired of trying to fix this issue in my own strength, with my own power, in my own creativity, in my own decision making. You're going to fail every time. I love you enough to tell you the truth. You're going to fail every time. You're not as smart as God. You can't see what he sees. You don't know what he knows. So if you'll just let go, hop over in the passenger seat, and let God take charge of the steering wheel of your life and follow his lead, man, you'll have a better life than you ever dreamed possible. I want to pray with you tonight as we close. Lord, I love you. I thank you for these amazing people who are watching, spending time maybe away from their families or whatever it may be, just spending 20 minutes here, gathering, talking, praying together. I pray that as we've talked, something clicked in their mind. Maybe you dropped a God thought into their mind or their heart about an area of their life that's unyielded and unsurrendered to you. Maybe as they've gone through this fast, they've seen, oh yeah, I know I struggle in this area, and boy, this thing has always been a problem for me. Maybe they've identified the biggies, but through the course of fasting and praying, through the course of putting you first, you've shown them some undiscovered issues that they didn't know about. Some hidden things, like when you go in for a test and man, it reveals an issue you didn't even know you had, but thank God you had the test because it can save your life. God, I pray that as we meet with you, it would reveal those hidden things that we don't even know about, that we haven't fully surrendered to you, an area of our life where we are still holding so tightly to that we're squeezing the life out of it for fear that if we let go and surrender control, it might not turn out how we want to. God, there's somebody that's thinking about buying a house and they're trying to solve that whole problem in their own strength. Do I buy a house? Do I sell my house? Is this the house that we buy? God, I pray that they would release that issue to you. And as they trust you with it fully and completely, you'll provide peace and clarity about exactly what they're supposed to do. God, for the people that are struggling in their finances, in their health, in their marriage, in their family, on their job, in their friendships. God, someone who's is struggling in a friendship. I just sense that. I just feel that. And maybe they're wondering, how is the relationship ever going to be mended? And they're trying to fix it in their own strength. Maybe they're trying to fix it by just being stubborn and not forgiving and growing bitter and just saying that's how it's going to be solved. But God, I pray that you would show them that unsurrendered area of their life, that you want to heal that broken part of their life so that you can heal the broken relationship. God, I pray that you would help us to see what we cannot see. Give us spiritual eyes to see the inner workings of our life and the things that we should offer to you because you know the best way possible. God, thank you for all that you do for us. We love you, we honor you, and we praise you. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey friends, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. I know it's a Monday night and you could be doing a lot of things, but you chose to be here, and I believe God's going to honor that with you. So take these words to heart. Have a great Tuesday, and don't forget, join us on Wednesday morning at 6:30 if you can, and especially Wednesday night as we have a special guest here on with us. Bye guys, have a great evening.